Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for supporting me. I'm Coretta. In this video, I will show you how you can pre-cut applique fabric with Cricut. Come on y'all, let's get started. For this project, I will be using Cutaway Stabilizer, Heat and Bond Light. I will be using fabric of my choice, a Gildan sweatshirt, a Cricut mini press, scissors, and thread. I will leave a list of the items used in this video in the description. Here in Brilliance, I am using Stitch Artist Level 2, but you can use Brilliance Essential to complete this project. I'm also going to be using my 5x12 multi-positional hoop. The first thing I'm going to do is import my file. To do this, I'm going to select File on the top menu. I'm going to select Open. I am going to navigate to where my file is, and I am going to select my file, and then I'm going to select Open. Next, on the right in the Objects panel, I am going to select the plus sign to expand the steps. And here are the 3 steps. The first one is the placement or position stitch. The next one is the tack down stitch. And the third is the border stitch, which is the satin border stitch. In order to cut out the fabric with my Cricut, I need to create an SVG of my design. And to create the SVG of my design, I'm going to select the position stitch because this is the stitch that I want my fabric to fit inside of. So I'm going to select my position stitch. Then below the Objects panel, I am going to go to the Properties panel, and I am going to select the thread color rectangle. On the thread panel, I am going to select the tab at the top that says Applique. And then on the Applique tab, I am going to select the drop-down menu next to Style, and I am going to select Applique Position. Then to the right under Cutting and Inflate, you can select how much outside the placement stitch you want to cut your fabric. For this project, I am going to leave it at 1.5 millimeters. You may want to test to see what cutting inflation works best for you. So just beneath Inflate, I am going to select Save, or yours might say Save As. Mine says Save, so I'm going to select Save. I am going to name my file. The Save As type should be Scalable Vector Graphics, or SVG, and then I'm going to select Save. Here you will select the DPI, or the dots per inches, for your SVG, and the message on this screen is basically stating that the standard DPI is 96, but for Adobe, Corel, and Cricut, the default is 72, and Inkscape, it uses a 90 DPI. So for my project, I am going to change this to 72. And then I'm going to select OK. And then I'm going to select OK again to close this window. So here in Cricut Design Space, I am going to upload the design to cut with my Cricut. With the design on the canvas, I'm going to go to the layers panel and I am going to expand my group. And now you can see all the layers on the panel, on the layers panel. So you have the L, you have the heart, you have the V, and you have the E. Next, I am going to check the size of my design to make sure that it was uploaded into the correct size. So I'm going to select the entire design, and on the top menu, the top toolbar under size, I can see that my design is 10.794 in width and 4.685 in height. And according to Brilliance, my design, my position stitch should be 10.75 in width and 4.625 in height. Remember, the design in Cricut Design Space is slightly larger because we added a 1.5 millimeter inflation on our position stitch. Now that we've checked the size, I am ready to cut. So if you were cutting your fabric with one color, you would select Make in the top right corner. But I will be using different color fabrics for my applique. So on the layers panel, I am going to change each layer to a different color so that I can have them cut separately. So I'm going to select the L, and then on the top toolbar next to Basic Cut, I'm going to select the color swatch and change the color to pink. I will repeat this process for the remaining layers. Now I am going to select Make on the top right. On this screen, I have the design on 4 color coordinated mats. And since I will be cutting this on fabric, I do not need to mirror anything. So I'm going to select Continue on the bottom right. On the material screen, I am going to select Browse All Material. In the search bar, I'm going to type cotton. I'm going to hit the search, and I am going to select cotton bonded, and then I'm going to select done. Before I put my fabric on the mat, I need to prep my fabric. So to prep my fabric, I am going to apply the Heat and Bond light to the fabric. So I've already cut out the fabric and the Heat and Bond to size, and I've cut mine slightly larger just to make sure that I have enough. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over the fabric, and then I'm going to place the Heat Bond down on the fabric with the rough side touching the fabric. And then I am going to press it for 305 degrees for 4 seconds. And then I'm just going to let it cool off. And while I let this cool off, I'm going to repeat the process for the remaining fabrics. Okay, so once the fabric is cool, I'm going to remove the paper backing, and I'm going to place the fabric on my fabric mat. And then I'm going to place it in the cutting machine to cut. So I'm going to get all of the fabric cut out and then I'll be back. So here at the embroidery machine, I have the design loaded on my embroidery machine, and I have the sweatshirt hooped on my 12x5 multi-positional hoop, and I am ready to embroider. I am going to lower my presser foot and press the green button to start the machine. The first stitch is going to be the placement stitch for the outline. So I removed the hoop from the machine so that I can place my fabric within my placement stitch. I'm going to cut some of my jump stitches off. So I'm going to cut that jump stitch off. And then I'm going to place the fabric inside of the placement stitch. So I'm just going to place it inside of the placement stitch. And I'm going to line it up as best as I can. And then I'm going to use my mini Cricut heat press to press the fabric to the sweatshirt. So I've placed the hoop back on the embroidery machine, and now it's going to stitch the tack down stitch and the satin border. Now the first half of the design is done. I'm going to unhoop it and stitch the second half of the design. Okay guys, the sweatshirt is all done. I am going to cut off my jump stitches, and then I'm going to cut away my stabilizer. Okay, so here are my thoughts on using the Cricut to pre-cut my applique fabric. The process is easy. It made the process really easy where I didn't have to spend a lot of time cutting. However, when you place it down, you want to make sure that you place it down really well and in between the placement lines, because over here I didn't place it down really well, and so you can see some of my fabric is sticking out over here. But other than that, I love it. I love the design. I love the process. Tell me guys, what do you think? All right guys, that's all for now. I hope that you're able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.